Leprechaun 4. Our old buddy's back, up to his old tricks.
And they're getting old.
They're getting old, yeah. I'm sick of that son of a bitch.
Actually, you shouldn't really say they're getting old because he went that. If you'd watched the first three and where it goes to this one, even for those, that was extreme.
What was
and
extreme?
Just going to in space.
I mean,
I kind of prefer the fact that they don't try to explain anything, though.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, they don't waste a bunch of time explaining backstory.
They just waste a bunch of time making a shit movie.
Man, I give them credit for making. It's. They didn't have any money, but they at least, had some nudity, had some gore, had a monster. I think I'm just sick of the Leprechaun.
Is nudity expensive?
Sometimes.
No, it's inexpensive, so they go for what people want to see.
Well, they pulled from a ton of different sci-fi movies or cliches. I mean,
it looked like a sci-fi channel movie,
without a doubt. I mean, it had a little shitty
lightsaber
in it.
A bad one.
Yeah, the effects in it were so gorgeous as far as 90s CG goes. I mean,
it did look like a sci-fi television show almost.
Yeah.
Like it didn't. But for me,
or a early
part,
PC game.
Yeah, a CD-ROM game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All I know is Leprechaun came out of a guy's crotch.
Yeah, Leprechaun came out of a guy's. He peed, and then Leprechaun went up into his pee, and then when the guy got back on the ship,
Leprechaun's dead body.
Yeah.
His remains.
He peed on his remains, which is rude.
Classic Marine
His
movie.
blown apart remains.
He gets his
Then
when Leprechaun crawls out.
He pixie dusted up into his crotch, and then when he was making out with this girl,
he said, "You want to see the snake, the big snake?" I think.
Mm-hmm. Podium cyborg.
He was an 8th grader.
Yeah, there was a guy who looked like Davros from Doctor Who rolling around with a colostomy bag hanging off his side. And then when they shot him from the back, he was the stupidest animatronic I've ever seen. But, yeah, it was bad. I mean, I'd have to say as far as, watching them all, that was probably my least favorite.
It was the worst of the 4.
Oh, easy.
So,
it was dog shit.
And there were so many nonsensical things that didn't make sense, like the cross-dressing dance scene.
Yeah, just trying.
And then some nunchucks.
The pizza pancake.
That was funny. That was good.
The nude scene even after it was explained in hindsight, it made no sense. Just girl flashes her boobs for no reason.
Garbage.
And then they explained it later of if she flashes her boobs as a royal family member, then it's a death sentence. It's like it was the dumbest nude scene.
Had he died in the previous movies, he died and then come back immediately? Besides this
No, I think this was another case of just no rules. He could transport. They blow him up, completely destroy him, and then he just zaps himself back into reality. Has no problem. There's just no rules. I mean, not that it really matters. I know it's a stupid movie, but there's
it kind of matters though. It's like, why is he having a gunfight? He's shooting guns at people, but earlier in the movie, he's using magic to handcuff people. He's using magic to just do everything. But now all of a sudden, I'm going to have a gunfight with you.
He didn't have any reason this time either. Before he was after his gold, someone had a gold coin. Nobody did anything to him this time, and he just came after him.
Yeah, what was his motivation with the girl?
I guess.
The girl. I guess this is the second time he wanted a girl, I guess.
But he wanted her for the money.
But he had the money.
He was going to kill her.
He wanted to be the king.
Yeah, he wanted to take her dad's spot.
I couldn't pay attention to none of
it.
It felt like two different movies, and so they just fuck it, we're just going to mash them together.
No, it felt like take any local laser tag place anyone has gone to, and then shoot a fucking movie, and put Warwick Davis in it, running around in a laser tag match, and that's what it felt like.
I'm just sick of him.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's been for me, we all really have never sat down and watched them. I hadn't at all, and he's done a lot of different characters over the years. Some obviously bad, and then some that are good. But to see how, especially with this one, I'm shocked that they kept getting him back. I mean, they must have been paying him really, really good for him to do these.
Well, I mean, I guess
he's the most well-paid little person actor
of all time.
Probably, all time, yeah. And maybe Peter Dinklage is
about to beat him. Probably
be about to take him.
I'd have to say Peter Dinklage has got to beat him.
Yeah.
At this point, if he's not getting paid more than a Leprechaun movie for doing an
Hey,
Emmy-winning
seven.
performance. No, 6.
And Dinklage
No,
has
7.
been in a lot of stuff other,
Leprechaun.
yeah,
Oh,
good,
right,
like
right.
good
Movies.
stuff.
Yeah.
He's and
Death of the
if I was Warwick Davis, I would be in all these movies too, because it would be fun to work on a movie, and it would be even
Because he was in all
more
the Harry Potter
Yeah.
movies.
It'd be even
Yeah,
more
that's true.
fun
He's
to work
been
on
in a
this.
ton of shit.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a great
But this is
actor.
his main role. Like, where he's got the main starring
He's
role.
top billed,
Yeah.
which like I said, there's that you can look at these movies from the viewpoint of if you watched it by yourself, or you can look at it from the viewpoint of we've watched them all today, and it's not been a good progression.
It's been hard.
Well, it's been up and down.
It is.
Every other movie has been better than the one.
It's like Star Trek. The even ones are good. The odd ones are bad.
Okay, well, this one, the odd ones are good, the even ones are bad.
Well,
So let's hope that
The one
Journey
thing
to
you
the
mentioned,
Hood
the one
is
thing you
treating us
mentioned
well.
a few minutes ago is, I guess since it's the director who did the first 4,
I think
he's not
they-
doing the In the Hood ones.
I don't know that.
All I know is the music has been the most consistent.
Best thing about all of them.
Oh my god!
Music
it's-
and blowing shit up.
It just, to me, well, this movie in particular, obviously the music's the same, but I think even visually, this looked very cheap. Like even more close quarters. I mean, the beginning part of the movie when they're out wherever they were exploring in the caves and all that, they showed. But once they got back to, it's just like you're in some warehouse. I felt like it was just like you said, laser tag or something. It just feels claustrophobic. But with that music, it just feels like,
Yeah, it feels a real cheap. I would say if you're gonna make a cheap movie, making the music, because
Don't try to make it sound orchestral.
don't make it try to
No.
sound orchestral. Go with a John Carpenter style. Go with Phantasm style. Something that's got a mood to it, rather than I'm gonna try to sound like an orchestra, but on a Casio keyboard. So overall, we're in a bad spot. I'd say
Yeah.
all of us are pretty annoyed and maybe even on the edge of like being like, ugh,
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. They are pretty excited about the next one, Leprechaun in the Hood. I think
It's gotta be indirectly funny.
I think
somehow.
their excitement is a perfect example of why there's a sequel, because I think so many people rented that one being like, this ought to be hilarious. And then
the studio made
And come
another
up
one,
with
but
another
they're
one,
probably
something
both
ridiculous.
shit.
they're both going to be garbage,
Yeah.
there's no doubt.
God.
Yeah. Well, the one that really is going to be the most interesting is the last one because
Because
you
it
know
just
it's
got
not-
made.
Yeah.
At least it just
Yeah,
got made.
it's a 10-year gap between 6 and 7.
Oh yeah, that's a big, yeah. So 6 came out in 2004?
3.
Wow. That's crazy.
Well,
I think this next one's what, 98 or 99.
Oh, and we should mention conversation about the graphics, the CG.
they look like a PlayStation 1 game or a
Yeah.
Nintendo 64 game for sure.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, blocky graphics like the devil in Spawn. Looks good compared to this movie.
You don't like spaghetti hair?
I did enjoy seeing that really bad CG. It's kind of funny.
They have done a good job in all the movies of casting the female leads to where they're interesting, at least.
I agree. Yeah.
It's just no matter what. A lot of times you do feel like you are scraping the barrel a lot with this, and that's why watching these, it's kind of surprised me. Beyond the first movie, I was expecting at least. I mean, yes, the third one was. I could see why people might like it so far compared to the other ones, but I was actually expecting at least one other one to be.
Yeah, that's disheartening that 3, I feel like we've peaked.
Yeah. Like
And
it's been
going to be down. And 3 really was, I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't that
No.
impressive at all.
It's comparable to like Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
Yeah.
Like the weaker of those.
How do you feel? We're not done with it. How do you feel about the Puppet Master movies versus this, as far as their execution?
I've been kind of thinking about that because the Puppet Master movies are bad as well. They are bad, but I think what's different is
Warwick.
my brain is
Warren Davis.
Warren
Clive Warren.
Warwick Davis is in all of these playing the Leprechaun. So you just get that same thing over and over again. And in Puppet Master, they switch up the puppets.
Yeah.
There's different characters. There's different settings. The third one goes back to Nazi Germany. And that one, the third one, peaked too. That's the best one. And then it's really bad. I would say this has been a pretty similar experience. These movies are comparable to Puppet Master. I think I like some of the Puppet Master movies because they're not trying to be funny sometimes. But yeah, overall,
like you said, it's Warwick every time, and everything looks like the same.
And
or
unlike
even in Friday, like you said, at least
different Jasons.
yeah, like it's the same character, but he looks different every time.
Different
like,
take on him.
Yeah.
A different take on that. I think the same director's been doing these too. So
yeah, maybe he'll look
I
different in the
tend to
next
think
one.
about like when we watched Freddy movies, it felt like when you watched him, obviously, as you go through those, there are a couple that are really bad, and they get very over the top. But even Warwick does not seem to be able to save
not like
this.
Freddy.
No.
He just doesn't have the charisma. But even Nightmare, when we watch those, and I love that series, I think some of the really weaker Nightmare on Elm Street movies were a lot weaker that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
really
when you
notice.
take that into consideration here, on an individual basis, these would be fun to throw in and have a laugh at with your friends. No doubt about it, 4 included.
The endurance aspect plays into it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're
Any of these is
experiencing that.
standalone, they're going to get criticized more harshly once you get through the first one. Everyone after it's going to be, we're going to criticize it more and more because we've done a marathon.
How do you feel? Are you ready to just throw in the towel?
I think kind of like what you were saying. I feel like scraping the barrel as in every category. It's like, like the girls are okay, but like there's not good nudity. There's not good sex scenes.
No.
As far as the violence, it's like I've seen a lot better gore in other series. Like Friday was way more interesting as far as chase scenes, blowing up stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I
like
think you have
they're
to-
just better at that kind of
Well,
stuff.
you have an intimidating like killer in those two. He's not intimidating at all.
It's all off screen too, so all it kills. The third one had some good gore. This had no gore in it hardly. It had a cool monster, but
So far, I think the girl that I like the most is one in the second movie.
I honestly
In a
find
weird
myself
way.
wanting to go back and rewatch some of her scenes because just like she was
Weird.
just so weird. It was intriguing, and I don't know. We'll see. I'll go back and try to watch all of them with commentary.
I know
they
one
have
thing
them.
that is going to finally happen is I'm going to hit that alcohol bar for the.
We might-
We've made it through 4 movies without eating.
None of us have had anything.
It's about time to turn on the drinking game.
I'm gonna have to turn on the drinking game. So we're gonna come up with the drinking game on this one. Probably, take a drink every time somebody says "What's up, dog?" or "What's up, bro?"
How
Or
about anytime someone says gold?
anytime someone says "gold," if the first 3 we would be whooped. This one they never even mentioned it.
Anytime
hardly.
they hold their gun sideways.
Yeah, okay. We can come up with the game in the first one and then follow the game in the second one. So we're about to watch a mixture of 2 genres, the murderous leprechaun genre and a blaxploitation film. And they're excited. It's gonna be dog shit. Stay tuned for Leprechaun in the Hood starring Ice-T.
Your gray games are enjoying, I see. But it's the gold games for me.
That's not real gold, dumbass. Put my games back. Okay, sorry.